It's another beautiful day the Lord has made. Let us be glad and rejoice in it. It's Albertine Sports. If this is your first time joining us here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on post notification bell. We are going to preview the weekend matches across Europe, and there were some interesting matches we played over the weekend in Italy, in Spain, in England, and surprisingly, Barcelona lost for the second time in the Spanish La Liga. Manchester City consecutively has lost two Premier League matches in a row. What is your take on that particular defeat Pep Guardiola and his Manchester City team in the disastrous moments they are going through? Liverpool has showed consistency and they were able to beat Aston Villa at the Anfield. And then Chelsea and Arsenal ended in a 1-1 draw. And Italian Serie A was Inter Milan at the Giuseppe Meazza San Siro. Drew with Napoli by 1-1, and then other fixtures that also went on across Europe. We're analyzing and be delving inside these particular fixtures and matches. But once again, it's Albertine Sports. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And after you subscribe, you turn on post notification bell. So we're starting from the Italian Serie A, and Inter Milan shared a point with Napoli at their home. And prior to the match, in our pre-match analysis, I was very clear that is going to be a difficult match, and this is going to be one of the matches that's going to decide the winner of the Scudetto. And the match actually lived up to expectation. Napoli scoring the first goal. Um, can't get see. Um, can't get see. Napoli scoring the first goal. Scott McTominay getting the first goal for Napoli, and then Hakan Çalhanoğlu came in to equalize for Napoli. I'm sorry for Inter Milan. And that's what's happened. And at the moment, Napoli are on top of the Scudetto table with 26 points. Inter Milan, Atlanta with 25, Inter Milan with 25, Fiorentina with 25, and that's how competitive the Italian Serie A is at the moment. Antonio Conte is a league expert, and I've said this time and time again that Antonio Conte, anytime he's playing in the league, he's his favorite to win the league because he knows how to play the league, and he has showed this season in the Italian Serie A. They lost to Atlanta last weekend, and then just yesterday they drew to Inter Milan, who is a contender for the Italian Serie A, and still they are on top of the league. Antonio Conte knows how to manage to get points in some dangerous fixtures, and I don't think they are actually going to throw in the towel at this early stage, and they will continue to fight for the Italian Serie A trophy. Now let's move on to the Spanish La Liga. I'll be starting from the Saturday matches that was played. Real Madrid at the Santiago Bernabeu won by 4 goals to 0 against Osasuna. Osasuna this season are playing very well in the Spanish La Liga. They were able to they gave Barcelona their first defeat in the Spanish La Liga by 4 goals to 2. So they won against Barcelona by 4 goals to 2. So against Real Madrid, especially a Real Madrid team that's not playing very well this season, but Real Madrid team that lost to Barcelona, lost to AC Milan, and hasn't been consistent and has not been on top of their form this season. We thought it was going to be a difficult match for Real Madrid, considering the current form of Real Madrid, and I mean the injury situation is what is actually going on in Real Madrid. They thought it was going to be a difficult game, but Barcelona at least would have given Real Madrid a tough time, even though Madrid on any day are favourites in this particular fixture. But hey, they showed their class and pedigree. They were able to humble Osasuna and won and dismantled. They humiliated them by 4 goals to 0. Vinicius Junior with a hat trick. He stood out and rise to the occasion. This is where the team really needed him the most. And if he think he's the best player in the world, if you think he's the leading player in the Real Madrid setup, and that's what he did yesterday. He actually did a very good job. Real Madrid securing the 3 points plus 4 goals for Real Madrid. Now that Barcelona has dropped points, now they have an outstanding match to play. Winning that outstanding match would reduce the gap from 6 to 3 points, and that's what will actually help Real Madrid. Real Madrid is a class, and they know how to bounce back in difficult moments. They know how to get the results in difficult moments, and that's what happened um on Saturday against Osasuna. Now, Barcelona lost to Real Sociedad by 1 goal to 0 away. And after the match, the subject for discussion is not the lose or it's not the match Barcelona lost. It's about the officiating. And a lot of people cannot understand how that Lewandowski goal he scored in the early minutes of the game, it was in the 12th minute, how that goal was disallowed because of offside. And according to the video assistant referee and the offside, automated offside machine that drew the line was able to identify that goal, was able to identify that offside and how this ball was disallowed. And last season, the reason why Barcelona fans were more angry in the Spanish La Liga and why you could see Xavi being indisciplined in the Spanish La Liga was some officiating and how some referees were taking decisions in the Spanish La Liga. This Xavi couldn't stand this, sort of decisions, and sometimes we'll try to retaliate, and sometimes we'll try to, I mean, explain things to the officiating officials, and then he was punished based on that. But if you clearly watch that that line or that images again, you could clearly see the ball was Lewandowski was onside, and that goal shouldn't have been disallowed. But all the same, Barcelona lost their second match this season in the Spanish La Liga, and this is the third match Barcelona has lost in all competition this season. Yes, yesterday Barcelona were not all that extraordinary. They were not extraordinary. The zero shot on target was not the usual Barcelona we used to watch, and we saw the early part of the season we've seen this season. So this was not a good match Barcelona played, but and they should have been able to manage a draw. And I mean, well done to or kudos to the rest of that team. They had a very good day. Their plan worked perfectly for them. They tried to attack Barcelona quickly. What Barcelona do perfectly, they used that same thing. Then they beat Barcelona because they were trying to defend in low blocks. They will now, I mean, press Barcelona with the long balls, and that was what caused the first goal. Yes, the offside trap yesterday didn't work, and then but it didn't work perfectly because their goal on any day Barcelona would have played the goal scorer offside. But hey, yesterday he was onside, and then things didn't go well as planned for FC Barcelona, and that was not a good match Barcelona had yesterday. But I think nothing has happened. Nothing has happened. Yesterday match is not the downfall of Barcelona. I think they will rise up and they'll bounce back after the international break. Lamine Yamal wasn't in the game, and you'll clearly see after the match, Hansi Flick in his post-match conference or post-match interview stated that the absence of Lamine Yamal actually affected the team, and it was seen because there was no creativity up front. Yes, in the first half, Frankie de Jong started as a double pivot to Marc Casado, Pedri in front of them, but Pedri was not allowed to create more chances. Pedri was highly pressed in the midfield, and Frankie de Jong. I mean, they didn't have a good game. At the second half, he was sacked because he got in discomfort, and then he was sacked. He was subbed for Danny Olmo, and things decided to change. Yes, things started to change. Femi Lopez on the wings wasn't that explosive and couldn't cause more threats up front as compared to what Lamine Yamal would do in any match, and that was what actually affected FC Barcelona. Now, in the English Premier League, we're starting from the Saturday matches, and we're starting from Manchester City versus Brighton and Hove Albion. And can we see is the end of an era for Pep Guardiola in the English football? Because what is actually going on for Pep Guardiola at Manchester City is something that is quite surprising because Pep Guardiola losing 4 matches in a row, 2 matches in a row in the English Premier League. They lost in the UEFA Champions League to Sporting CP, and they lost in the Carabao Cup against Tottenham Hotspur. And against Brighton, Manchester City scoring the first goal, and they came to equalize and won. Brighton won the match at the end of the 90 minutes. And this is something is not usual when it comes to Pep Guardiola's team. We are aware that Pep Guardiola have been facing, or Pep Guardiola is facing some injury crisis. Manchester City are facing some injury crisis. But with that, if you consider the kind of squad Pep Guardiola has, or the kind of squad Manchester City have, you don't expect Pep Guardiola to lose points or to lose points to certain clubs because they lost against Bournemouth and then they lost against Brighton and Hove Albion. And you check, and sometimes I understand people's concerns about Pep Guardiola trying to be older and trying to be more intelligent, overthinking that sort of coach because Pep Guardiola had Nathan Ake and Manola Kanji on the bench, and he decided to go in for an 18-year-old defender. I don't know, pussy partner with a right back of Kyle Walker. And you will clearly see it didn't work for Manchester City. He tried the same pussy guy with Manola Kanji against Sporting City, and it didn't go well for them. And against Brighton and Hove Albion, he tried this. He even changed and made it worse, bringing on in Kyle Walker as a centre back, and then Rico Lewis, who is a liability when it comes to defense. Yes, he's good up front when surging forward, and then when he's playing as an inverted right back, he's a good player in there. But with a young defense and an unexperienced defense, a team that's not more comfortable when it comes to no apart from Josco Vadio, even who now is playing more as a left back. there was no experienced centre back as a typical centre back in the squad, and you will clearly see it didn't work well for Manchester City. And I've been saying this always: the absence of Rodri is actually affecting Manchester City because he is the one who stabilized the Manchester City team. He dictates where Manchester City should go. Kevin De Bruyne came on, but he didn't change anything. But if there's a certain Rodri will perform very well the same defensively and dictate the play as a defensive or as a deep line playmaker. And you could see Mateo Kovacic in some matches might try to rise up to the occasion and have some good games, but not as compared to the presence of Rodri. And now people will understand why Rodri deserves to win a Ballon d'Or. And with the absence of Rodri in Manchester City, we've seen how they've been struggling of late. And then on the English Premier League table, now they are falling behind Manchester City. Sorry, against Liverpool, they are they have 23 points behind. In front of them is Liverpool. So Liverpool is ahead of them with 28 points. Manchester City with 23 points, and that's not a good thing for Manchester City. And it's going to be difficult because there's nothing has shown that Liverpool are going to drop points. So they won against Aston Villa at the Anfield by 2 goals. Sometimes Aston Villa can be a difficult opponent for any team they play with because checking after United Emery took over this Aston Villa team, they've been a competitive force in the English Premier League. They try to at least manage to get points with some big guys and they try to beat some big teams in the English Premier League. But hey, Liverpool and as lost Liverpool has shown that hey, they are flying and there's no way any team in the English Premier League will try to stop them. And if they did win against Aston Villa, the next match in the English Premier League is going to be Manchester City. Manchester City this season are not playing well, and in the last two matches they've played, they've lost two of the last two matches they've played in the English Premier League. But Pep Guardiola lose 3 matches in a row. So that's why this match was very, very important for Liverpool to at least win this match. They don't know what's going to happen between them and then Manchester City. To win this match, at least securing a draw against Manchester City. I'm a team you are competing with. Securing a draw is actually going to help Liverpool. So Mohamed Salah came onto the party and then Darwin Nunes also scored. They were all on the score sheet for for Liverpool, and they were able to get that 3 points against Aston Villa. Now Manchester United won by 3 goals to 0 against Leicester City. And after Eric Ten Hag was fired, the first match they played was against Leicester City, which they won by 5 goals to 2. Now yesterday they played against Leicester City again, and um, they won by 3 goals to 0. Bruno Fernandes. You see, sometimes we see coaches play part of the game, but not necessarily wearing boots, standing on the field to play. Bruno Fernandes didn't start the season well under Eric Ten Hag. Ruud van Nistelrooy took over, and Bruno Fernandes has scored 4 to 5 goals in the last 3 matches he has played. Bruno Fernandes last season was the best player for Manchester United, and he has been the best player for Manchester United since he arrived in the club. But this season it was well for Bruno Fernandes, conceding 2 red cards. 2 red cards, unusual for Bruno Fernandes. But under Ruud van Nistelrooy, he has improved the squad. And the 4 matches they've played, they've won out of the 4 matches they've played, and that is a good start for Ruud van Nistelrooy's Manchester United. You see, Ruud van Nistelrooy didn't do anything extraordinary, even though he did some little of tactical switch and some tactical variations and renovations. But what you need to do is put in more confidence in the boys and make the right selection. And everything how we were seeing Marcus Rashford and then Alejandro Garnacho on the wings. So Alejandro Garnacho on the left, Marcus Rashford on the right. But this time he has sticked with Amad Diallo on the right and Garnacho on the left. And we've seen the how good Amad Diallo is when he's playing for Manchester against against FC 2020. Against PAOK, we saw what Amal Diallo did, and then yesterday against Leicester City, we saw what he did. He clearly showed he had the potential, and he has everything to be a starter at Manchester United. Now to the big game. Arsenal travelled to their London rivals. They travelled to the bridge, and then they had a 1-1 draw with Chelsea, and Chelsea are yet to win against the top clubs in the English Premier League, but still they are third on the table with 19 points. Behind them is Arsenal with 19 points. Nottingham Forest is 19 points. Brighton with 19 points. Fulham with 18 points. Newcastle with 18 points, and Aston Villa with 18 points. So from third position to ninth position, it's only 1 point that separates them. Some are equal, some have the same points, and others it's only 1 point that separates them to Chelsea. And the match started because we all knew this match is going to be a competitive match because for the last 3 seasons, Chelsea are yet to beat Arsenal. And last season in the second leg at the Emirates, Arsenal beat Chelsea by 5 goals to 0. And the first leg in the Stamford Bridge ended in a draw. So this match clearly we all knew it was going to be a difficult match. Prior to the match, Kopama was doubtful, Declan Rice was doubtful, but after the starting lineup came, we saw these two players starting for both sides. Chelsea, as usual, played their normal game, building up with the three back with Mark Guerra, Leval Cole, and then Wesley Fofana, double pivot with um, Romeo Lavia and Maurice Caicedo. And then on the part of Liverpool, we had Ben White, Saliba Gabriel, and then Julian Timber, Thomas Partey, and Declan Rice. Martin Odegaard in front of them, and then the usual Havertz, Martinelli, and then Bukayo Saka. And what Arsenal did very well was not allowing Kopama to get in ball spaces and not allowing Kopama to get his D because he's the dangerous player went in this Chelsea setup. But what worked out very perfectly for Chelsea and Enzo Maresca was whilst Kopama was quarantined, he was not allowed to get in and do more playing of the ball. Pedro Neto rise to the occasion, and what a goal from Pedro Neto. I don't understand why Maresca keeps on playing Madueke on the right, playing Neto on the left because Noni Madueke on the right hasn't shown how that he's dangerous to any opponent he faces. But a few minutes we saw Pedro Neto on the left, so on the right, we saw what he's capable of doing, and he scored that beautiful goal. And Enzo Fernandez came onto the game and then he changed the midfield something for Chelsea. Check that where he received the ball, where he moved, his transition the ball, and the time he passed the ball to Pedro Neto, and that's class from Enzo Fernandez. But with the midfield right now of Chelsea, they have a very top quality in midfield because Romeo Lavia and then Maurice Caicedo are playing well. The partnership has been solid. Now Enzo Fernandez will have to work because when you partner Enzo Fernandez with Maurice Caicedo, defensively he's not that good, but offensively and how to create chances for your opponent is good. But when the team is without the ball, how is it going to be important to Chelsea? And that's what Enzo Fernandez thought of, and then he benched Enzo Fernandez. But coming on to in the second half, he actually came on and made something good for Chelsea. Now Mikel Arteta in his last 5 matches is yet to win a match. Yes, they lost to Newcastle United, they lost to Bournemouth, they drew to Liverpool, now they drew to Chelsea, but still they are fourth on the table. Can they compete for the English Premier League as they did last season? Because Chelsea are playing well, and nothing shows Chelsea are going to drop. They are going to drop form any moment from now. And Liverpool, Manchester City, we can't talk about them more because we won't talk about them much because they can anytime win even more than 15 matches in a row. So under Pep Guardiola, you can't predict them. But yes, now that they are not playing well, they are not, at the higher level. This where Arsenal and then Liverpool should take the advantage. So it wasn't necessary. Arsenal losing some matches to some opponents. Yes, Chelsea is a difficult opponent to Arsenal on any day because considering the current form of Chelsea, they are actually on their highest peak. So it's never going to be an easy match for Arsenal. But against Newcastle, against Bournemouth. So if Arsenal won those matches against that two opponents, Arsenal would have been second on the table right now. But unfortunately for them, Mikel Arteta and his boys couldn't secure that win for them to at least increase their hopes of winning the English Premier League. Martin Odegaard returned to the Arsenal starting 11 and check that assist he gave to Gabriel Martinelli. That's pure class, and he showed that Arsenal truly lacked him in their starting 11 after he got injured. And that's what we saw. How creative this guy is. Yes, they had a midfield. Yes, they have Mikel Merino, Declan Rice, and Thomas Partey. But can these guys be more creative, like how Odegaard would be? And yesterday, he showed how important he is to this Arsenal squad, and then how if he's out of this Arsenal squad, they lacks his presence in the squad. And